The Metis Tech Show.
Welcome to the Metis Tech Show, a show for HVAC professionals by HVAC professionals.
I like how you guys bounce back and forth between heat pump talk and food talk.
The Metis Tech Show.
Mitsubishi.
So we are here at the training team meeting. We do this once a year. We have two other instructor meetings that we do kind of in between this one, but this is our one annual training team meeting that includes not just the instructors, but also the design team like myself and our admins. And one of the things that we've talked about, last year is one of the nights that we're here, we're going to use the hotel's big gas grill that they have, and we'll barbecue and cook out and kind of just hang out at the end of one of the days. And so I volunteered myself. Steve wasn't able to make the trip this year, so I volunteered myself to do the grilling. And I'm going to do some steak tips and then some chicken thighs. Do you guys like chicken thighs or chicken breast better?
Chicken thighs, I feel like it has more flavor to it. Chicken breast a little bit drier, but I like both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like both.
I'm a breast man.
You like breasts?
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Thing is
It's always funny to me.
the thing is so I agree. Like chicken breasts, it's more delicate because they dry out fast.
They do.
And at the other end of it, like chicken thighs, if they sometimes have like a weird taste because of how fatty they can be sometimes. And so it's always a balance of like, which one do I want to sacrifice or risk more? And I do a combination. It's usually both.
Did you know when you're making, I didn't know this, did you know like when you're cooking around, when you're grilling something and if you have bone in it, that actually takes a little bit longer to actually cook around that bone because that bone will, takes up that heat, it like absorbs
Really?
the heat. Yeah, it takes a little
I
bit
can see
longer.
that. That
So
makes
if you
sense.
cook a T-bone, if you pay attention to like when you get closer to the bone, it gets a little bit more raw. That's why.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's almost like a heat sink.
Yeah,
the-
literally.
Yeah, because it's just a dense.
It's a meat heat sink.
Yeah, it's a meat sink.
House sink.
Sounds gross. All right.
Yeah. But so I'm excited because I have, especially because it's a gas grill, which is all I use. There's a marinade that I get for chicken thighs. And you guys ever go to like the mall and they have the Chinese places in the food court and they're always handing out the free samples?
Yep.
And bourbon chicken they usually have. So I found this marinade that literally tastes exactly like that bourbon chicken. And when you put it on chicken thighs, it's like, will immediately remind you of that bourbon chicken from
sweet.
the Chinese restaurants. And it's amazing. I had it once by accident. I just bought it. I was like, we'll try this one. And I marinated it for like 2 days because I forgot about it. And then when I finally grilled it, I was like, this tastes exactly like those Chinese food restaurants. So I'm looking forward to that one.
You say you're doing steak tips too?
Yeah, steak tips. I probably won't marinate those because I'm not big on marinated steak.
No, like a rub or just
Rub,
salt,
yeah,
pepper,
yeah, definitely.
or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely more of a dry rub person when it comes to steak. I don't know how you guys feel, but
I'm pretty simple. I do like garlic powder, salt, pepper. Sometimes I'll do sometimes I'll actually rub garlic, roasted garlic on top of it and just like grill it just to see if it would soak in that garlic. I don't really know if it works, honestly. I'll be real. But I try it. Yeah, I try it out.
Yeah.
Seems like it works.
yeah, one thing I've learned, and I don't know if you ever run into this, garlic powder, you got to be careful if you cook in a pan because it burns so fast.
Oh.
And I learned that the hard way. And so now,
Quick.
anytime I put garlic powder on things, I do it at the end. I used to do I'd grab a steak and I do salt, pepper, and garlic.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, like when I sear it in a pan, that garlic gets black so fast. And so what I've learned over the years is just do the salt and pepper, and then like 3 to 4 minutes out, then I'll put the garlic powder on there.
Is that the best way to make a steak? On a grill, charcoal, or sear?
My favorite flavor of steak, I would say, is definitely on a grill. I don't have that because I live in an apartment, so I have to sear
Yeah.
and finish every single steak, and we eat a lot of steak, so I've gotten used to cooking it in a pan, and they're still good.
I think
you
they're
can get
really
a
good
nice,
that way.
Yeah, you can get a nice sear on there.
I actually like them more that way because I do like the butter and the rosemary.
yes,
like
a little
getting the
baste
garlic,
after. Yeah.
Make it a little bit more juicy, a little bit more tender. I like it.
Yep. Do you ever make like a compound butter to do that?
No, is it?
Yeah, so you'll just take like a stick of butter, and I usually like get it just to the point of melting. I don't let it boil, but I just melt it so it's liquid again.
Yep.
I'll season it, with like actual garlic. I chop some garlic and put it in there, and then maybe some oregano or some sort of, herb. And then I, put it in a bowl or whatever and let it cool just enough so that the saturated fat is hardened again.
Yep.
And then you can roll it. And then it just sits in my fridge. And then whenever I want some, I just cut a little piece off and drop it in there.
actually.
Oh, it's so good. You put it on bread. That's one of my favorites. Bread and butter is amazing.
I just made some garlic bread like that from the concentrated butter. And I put like the garlic in there with a bunch of different seasonings, just spread it on. And then we toasted it for a little bit. And then we also put some Parmesan and mozzarella on top and then stuck it back in the oven. So it's cheesy garlic bread. Yeah. So good.
It's amazing.
Can we just bring up one little trend that's going on? I want to know if you guys are dealing with it too. My fiance is loving sourdough. All we make at home now is sourdough. We're on a sourdough kick. I got jalapeno sourdough. I got cinnamon sourdough. I got any type of sourdough you want.
We have 2 grams of sourdough bagels at the house right now.
That sounds really good.
We don't do sourdough at the house, but I like sourdough. I've actually, it's more last year. I haven't done it in a while, but I was making my own bread, just regular bread for a long time. And I had a couple of recipes for just like a loaf, and then I had one for like garlic knots. And so I was making like the regular bread where you have to use the yeast and let it rise and go through that whole. But it honestly, by the time you're done baking it, you've been at it for like 2 hours if you do it right. And so sometimes I'm like, I don't have the.
You know what kills me is when I go in the fridge and I see the sourdough starter. Things smell horrible. I open that. That's what I did on accident. I opened it. Mistake. Then I double think sourdough. I'm like,
I don't
pretty
know if I
sour.
should be eating
I don't
this.
know. It's pretty sour.
Well, so we had Doug Bush on at the DSG conference last year, and they do sourdough. He's on the Tiger team. And he was talking about, like, really to start it, it's just flour and water, and you leave it open to the elements. So, like, the bacteria that just happens to exist in the air is what causes the rising and, like, creates that yeasty dough. And so he said that depending on the environment, you'll get different flavors of sourdough because, like, let's say you have a house with a bunch of dogs. That could be totally different.
Are you going to allude that you have a dirty house, Brett?
Well, I don't make sourdough, but yes. No, it's just like I didn't realize that it's like the environment that grows in because you're using the bacteria that exists in the air can change like flavors.
And how much
and
the
things like
temperature
that.
matters too. Like I didn't know. We tried the starter at first. She tried like a couple of them, but it wasn't rising. So she actually bought a little oven thing for it. So it has its own little.
Like a proofer.
Yep. Goes in there. It's at 80 degrees at all times. Rises perfectly. Now she's like a little factory.
It's the
Her friends all
sour-
ask for a little starter. She's passing out starters to everybody.
Yeah, that's
It's a
awesome.
sourdough incubator.
Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Yeah, in reality, that's exactly what it is.
It's called an oven. They're in most kitchens.
Yeah. One thing that I always found weird about making bread is when you first get it out of the oven, and this always blew my mind because I thought I ruined so many loaves of bread until I realized when you first pull it out of the oven, it's hard. Like you knock on the outside of it and it's hard.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh no, I ruined it. And then if you let it cool down, it gets soft. What the heck is going on? It blew my mind the first few times, but yeah, it's cool. I like making bread.
Yeah, I've tried with gluten-free flour at our house.
Ooh,
Yeah.
sounds delicious.
No, not really.
No?
And then watching it rise, I was like, okay, I'm like excited. Go lift up the little, the cover over the bowl. I'm just like, oh, it looks like a softball still. It literally just went like, cool. It did like nothing to grow, hardly at all.
Yeah, I mean, isn't gluten the whole reason why like it rises? Or well, no, I guess gluten doesn't necessarily cause the rise.
Gluten just makes the bread taste good. I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, because we have to cook like that at home. So try different things with different. When gluten-free stuff first came out, you couldn't find anything. It was horrible. And now it's getting a little bit better, but still got to be careful. Like we'll get sandwiches sometimes for work, and it's like, oh, we got gluten-free bread, and it's like, okay, cool. And then I buy it, it's like, oh, this is
It's horrible.
This is terrible.
That's
I may be completely wrong, but doesn't gluten change the structure of the bread, like how doughy it is? Or
yes.
I think it has something to do with how it stays intact with itself.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because if you ever cook, I know it's like rice noodles versus like actual noodles, but if you cook gluten-free noodles and if you leave them in there a hair too long, they just crumble to pieces.
I got you.
Crumbles. So if you do like spaghetti, you're going to have like little spaghettis. So
Yeah.
if you leave the noodles in too long,
Yeah, gluten. You're right. I mean, gluten is like the structure
Yeah.
of
The binder,
the bread.
almost.
Yeah, and you have to develop it. That's what kneading is doing.
Right,
It's just causing that all. But I thought for some reason I thought I guess it's the yeast that really like
yeah, it's the yeast
that
that
does
makes it
the work.
rise.
Yeah,
But
you're right.
I didn't have it warm enough in that kitchen either. I'll try it again.
You ever do like a cauliflower loaf or something?
No, I'm not into that. I'm really not. We do a lot of rice and potatoes at the house.
Yeah, that
so-
works. That works.
I bought some chickpea noodles to try
Yep.
one time. Dude, I didn't realize they cook in like 3 minutes. I walked back, I went to use the bathroom real quick, came back, and they were literally looked like mashed potatoes in the pot. And I was like, threw those out.
Yeah. I did that one time. Well, the first time I ever made a chicken noodle soup.
Yeah.
I did it in like an instant pot or a crock pot, whatever. And I put the noodles in with everything else to cook. And so it sat in a slow cooker for like hours. And so then I go to take my first spoonful because the noodles were still intact. The first spoonful, they just turned into mush. And I was like, oh no. And what I did with it was I use it because it's starch. So what I ended up doing was adding some cream and like stirring it around and ended up making a chowder. Yeah. So it was like a chicken chowder. But it was noodles as my starch.
It tastes good?
It was fine. Nobody noticed. Nobody noticed.
Did you eat those leftovers?
I don't remember. It was so long ago. I don't remember what happened with them. But anyway, welcome everybody to the Metis Tech Show. I am Bryn, and I'm here with Will, Eddie, and Rob. Hopefully I announced everybody well this time. And what are we talking about today?
We are going to be talking about sizing buck boost transformers.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
You guys ever talk about them in class?
We bring it up in our classes. We bring them up a little bit. We have a slide about it. We talk about it a little bit. Nobody really asks much about them, but it is really important to figure out how do you get a buck boost transformer? How do I size it? How do I do these things? Nobody asks, and honestly, it's a really good question to ask.
Yeah. I know. We have a slide talking about buck boost transformers, and it came from prior to that slide existing. We would bring it up as like we talk about minimum and maximum voltage and how important that is, and we talk about the power factor when you have your incoming voltage and you multiply it by 1.414, it gives you your DC voltage and why all those things matter. And for the longest time, I'm like, if you are in an area where there's consistently high AC voltage, you may want to put on a buck boost transformer. And most people are like, what is that? And the best I could really give them was, well, it bucks the excess voltage and it boosts the low voltage. But then I got faced with a question from a distributor, a DSG, who was looking for assistance on sizing one. And I realized how much actually goes into that. And it made me realize how, when I teach it, there's probably a lot more I could add to teaching buck boost transformers, why they're important, why you might need them. And then also, how do you know you're even getting the right one? Because there are tons. I don't know if you ever looked this up, but there are tons of different buck boost transformers. And I never really realized why until I kind of went through the process of making sure we sized one. So what would be the main reason why we need a buck boost transformer?
Your power. I'm going to say it's going to be your power. So your power is just like either your power is too strong or you don't have enough power. Maybe your power is in and out in your area. Like I know there's some areas in where I live, in the area I live in, Rhode Island, that there's some spots over there power is just very shoddy. Very, very shoddy.
Yeah. Do you guys have any areas where it's like inconsistent, where sometimes it's high and then sometimes it's, a little bit better and maybe sometimes it's even low? I know what they always say is it's best to test it when there isn't a big load on the grid. If you check in the middle of the day where everyone's running their air conditioning, that may not be the best time to check to see if you need that buck boost transformer because it can creep up. As the evening goes on there.
And I had a thought too with that, with buck boost transformers, where all these data centers are going in now, and then the surrounding neighborhoods. How's that going to affect them? And a lot more people are going to potentially need a buck boost transformer to supplement or help even out their power source because the data center is robbing everything. So then the grid's just trying to make up for it.
Yeah. And I think it's usually Chicago where I hear it, but I have some folks out that come to class in that area. And, they're talking about, a house that's on the end of a grid.
Yes.
And they just jack up the voltage to make sure it will supply the 230 for everybody. And there's some houses on that grid that are at 248, 250 all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, for some household appliances, it's not a big deal.
Right.
But for our equipment, it is. It does matter.
Yeah.
So when it comes to making sure that or deciding whether or not you need a buck boost transformer, a lot of it's going to be your incoming AC voltage,
Yes.
right? The actual voltage that's coming off the panel that would be getting delivered to your equipment.
Could we actually talk about real quick?
Sure.
Just like so if your power is too high, what would happen to our units? And if your power is too low, what would happen to our units?
Yeah, that was actually what I was just going to bring up. Oh, you don't have to apologize. But yeah, so, for us, it's because we're inverter, right? Because there's an inverter in there and we have that power factor, we are converting to DC voltage. And I always say it's, the maximum AC voltage is important, but really it's the DC voltage traveling through the boards that's going to take it out.
Yep.
And so the higher that AC voltage climbs, once we hit our diode stack, we end up with a higher DC voltage. And so, I've seen some maintenance tool files where they have almost 400 volts DC on a single phase 230 system. And you're like, holy buckets. Yep. And they're like, oh yeah, we always run like 245, 248. And we're like, oh my goodness. But it's the nature of the beast. And that's where the buck boost transformers come in. They can take out boards if you have too high a voltage. Fan motors, compressor. We do put a lot of protection on our compressor. We have the ACCT sensors. We do a lot to try to prevent that kind of stuff from affecting the compressor. But boards is going to be the big one.
Yeah.
Most definitely. We want to keep that within a 10% range, but ideally way less than that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And most especially keeping it to residential, if you look at the nameplate plates or the data tags on our equipment, most of them are going to say 192 to 253. Yeah. So minimum voltage 192, maximum 253.
Right.
In our particular training center in Boston, it's 210 almost all the time. Do you guys know roughly what you guys run in your training center?
I don't have anything to monitor. But
I don't have a monitor, but when I check the units, we're running just a hair above 208 typically.
Oh yeah, that's right. Actually, I remember checking that.
Yeah. We're close.
Yeah,
from what I've seen.
Yeah.
But Orlando is crazy now.
Yeah,
it can be like that one day, you're there the next, and it's all over the place. But
yeah,
we gotta get those cruise ships ready to go.
That's right. They fire up all the boats at once.
Shut it down. But yeah, so that's the main reason why we'd even want a buck boost transformer is you have consistently high or consistently low voltage, and the end goal there is to try to protect your equipment. Now, what we're going to talk about is how do we select the correct buck boost transformer. But one thing I think is important to talk about first is that a buck boost transformer is not a surge protector. So surge protectors, right, they will actually cut off the equipment if too high a voltage, right? We get this power surge, and it's going to actually cut that voltage to the equipment to protect it. This does not do that. A power surge can still affect the equipment if all you have is a buck boost transformer. So I just figured I'd get that out of the way so people aren't putting these on there and thinking oh, this is going to solve all my bad board problems, because not necessarily. Surges can still do their own thing.
I probably still need to put a surge protector on in that case then.
If you're in an area that's prone to it, where I worked, it wasn't so much that there was a lot of surges. It was that there was a lot of places that were so remote that most of the road was trees. And so transformers were blowing in these big storms and taking out boards. I would go to houses where I had to take the long way because the road is blocked by a tree. And then you get to the house and every board on their indoor units is gone. Yep. It's fried. And it's transformer blew, something happened, big power surge. Yep. We had a lot of it with older style generators where they didn't have a load shedding module. They just had a hard transfer switch, and that equipment got hit with that DC, it is DC voltage, but it's been converted through the generator, but gets hit with that voltage. And really the generator motor, all it's doing is ramping up and down its RPM to maintain 230. So when they first start up, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard a home standby generator, but they go and then they try to find home. And once that transfer switch hits, if big loads hit it all at once without some sort of load shedding module, it can bog down the engine of the generator, and then things start to get wonky. So we had some power surges with that, where they were running off their generator and didn't have a way to manage the heavier loads, and took out some equipment. So those things still need to be considered. This would be more like every day I check my incoming voltage is too high or too low.
Right.
So a couple things that we need to know with the buck boost transformer. So what is the first thing that we should make sure we have the information on when it comes to sizing the buck boost transformer?
So you should know your minimum circuit amps, your minimum circuit amps, and your MOCP, maximum overcurrent protection.
Yeah. And so we have them on our data tags, right? You'll see MCA and MOP or MOCP, depending. Most of the time ours, I think, just say MOP, but I could be wrong about that. Could be MOCP. But basically, like layman's terms for that, as MCA is like the maximum amps that unit's going to draw. And MOCP is how we size our breaker, right? It's a maximum overcurrent protection. Right. So we want to just be aware of those things. When it comes in particular to sizing that or determining if your buck boost transformer is compatible and will work, we really care a lot about that MCA. So take a look at the data tag, see what that MCA is, see what the MOCP is, and then you also need to know what your incoming AC voltage is. Right? You got to find out how many volts do I need to buck. So just giving an example, if we had like a system that's designed to operate on 230 volts, and I have consistently 248 volts, I have 18 volts too many, right? So I would need to buck 18 volts. That's one of the pieces of information I need to know. What is my steady incoming AC voltage? And using that, how many volts do I actually need to buck? Because you can actually select your buck boost transformer based on that. They have ones that are 248 minus 16 or minus 18 or minus 12. And it will tell you exactly how many volts it's going to buck. So knowing those values before you even go shopping for one is important. What's my AC voltage? What do I want it to be? How many volts do I need to buck or boost in that case?
So similar to a traditional transformer, we need to know the VAs that transformer can handle
100%.
Before we buy the wrong one on accident.
Yeah, and I think honestly that's where people get stuck. You know, I think it's that the first part of that simple math, which is here's my incoming voltage. It's 18 volts too high. Let me go buy a buck boost transformer that bucks 18 volts. Simple, right? Yeah. But what you said is you need to know your VA on that particular transformer. So you have to know what it is rated for so that excess voltage that you bucked can be accommodated for by that buck boost transformer. So that's the other thing that you need to pay attention to is what is the kVA rating for that particular buck boost transformer. And they'll show it. Like if you look up one on a website, you find one that says, okay, it's 249 to 230 and it's a 19 volt buck transformer. It'll have in the submittal sheet a kVA rating. Yeah. And so you got to pay attention to that kVA rating because a lot of times what people will do is they'll just take the supply voltage, that 230 volts, and they'll just multiply it by the MCA, 25, and they'll say, okay, that's how many kVA I need to make this buck boost transformer work. Reality is that majority of that's being taken up by the equipment. So really the only thing we need to size on the buck boost transformer is that the VA of the bucked voltage, that 18 volts or that 19 volts that we're actually bucking. And so in order to do that, you would take that bucked amount of voltage and multiply that by the MCA.
Yeah.
So an example, you're trying to buck 18 volts. The MCA on the equipment is 25. You'd multiply those together and you'd have 450 VA, which is what, 0.45 kVA?
Yes.
Not even 1 kilo, right? So 0.45 VA, if you go to your buck boost transformer at that kVA, we pulled one up just as an example, and it's 3.3. Right. So in this instance, this can handle that, right? Yep. No problem at all, right? Those are the steps that we have to take, right? We have to make sure that we know the incoming voltage, how much we want to buck, and then with that bucked voltage, how much is that kVA, and can our buck boost transformer handle that?
Yeah, and there'll be a tolerance in there.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and in some cases, I've actually seen some buck boost transformers that don't necessarily give a voltage difference. They'll give a percentage difference.
Yeah, like 5-10%.
Right. Mm-hmm. So those are the things you want to pay attention to. As far as brand goes, I'm not really brand specific. I would just trust my electrical supply house.
Yeah.
but I would, just give them the specs on, here's the sticker on my equipment, and I'm getting this voltage.
Line voltage. Yeah.
And they may even do it for you. If you go to electrical supply house and say, here's my incoming voltage, I need 230, and this is my sticker that shows the MCA and MOCP, they may say like, okay, and they'll look it up and say, okay, this is the one you need. I'm sure they have that. I think, didn't you find a calculator?
So when I was talking, when me and Bern were talking earlier, we were talking about just buck boost transformers and how the calculations work. I was just looking up online, and I did find some bus boot calculators, some tools that you can use. So you just set in the numbers, and it's going to calculate everything for you, which is pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. So it'll spit out like kind of what you need for as far as specs go on that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it specifically asks the input voltage, the output voltage, the load amps, and then the tolerance that you want it to be.
You got it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So plenty of resources out there for you, and I think it's a good place to start. If you're putting a lot of them on, you probably already know all this stuff, but maybe you're finding that as of recently, your voltage has gone up because data centers or whatever the case may be, neighborhoods getting built in your area, and so now they boosted up the grid to accommodate all these new, condos or whatever, and so you're finding that now as you install equipment, you're seeing high voltages. Well, you go through those steps of figuring out how to get these buck boost transformers sized properly.
After going through like this episode, talking about it, it's something I definitely want to bring up in class a little bit more and like educate, because it's important. It really is. Because if you don't have the proper voltage to our units, you're just going to end up having more issues. So if you just properly size a buck boost, if you need it, it's gonna work so much better for you. It's just gonna make your life so much easier in service.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think? Where would you personally? Because there isn't really a hard answer, I wouldn't say, but do you have a personal opinion on when you would think, okay, I need a buck boost transformer? Like if I had 238 volts, would that be enough?
I wouldn't. 8 volts over is not big enough. I would think, especially with this conversation, some techs that are listening to probably will go back to some of the houses that they've been at where they've lost a lot of boards and then sit there when they're doing a maintenance or something, and then, oh, whoops, that's like 245 volts coming into the house on the
that's
regular.
A good point.
So that might be something. And then, like we were saying too, with sizing these, we just have to do the differential. Yeah. We're not putting a whole transformer on for the unit. So guys don't need to be buying something the size of an engine block, to come and put out there. So
that's actually a good point. I didn't even bring that up, but a buck boost transformer looks like a disconnect. It's roughly the same size as a disconnect. So, and as far as I can tell, it's relatively similarly priced too. So that's a good thing to bring up. It's not like one of those things that hums in your in your yard that's covered in green that everyone used to hang out in the neighborhood.
Everybody gather around the transformer.
So Rob or Will, you guys brought up voltage. Was it voltage meters that you can also wire on? I forget what it is.
Oh, voltage monitors?
Phase monitors.
Phase monitors, line voltage monitors.
And those
some of them have
do both.
Surge.
Or a lot of times those can do both. They'll do the buck boosting and they'll do the surge protecting. So you can buy like an all-in-one.
That'd be awesome.
They sell them with all three: surge protector, line voltage monitor, and a buck boost. But it's nice to know, because if you're using the line voltage monitor, you can keep track of what's actually happening off the municipal power.
Right.
You can see what's going on if you're losing boards, etc. But if you're at that point, then you'd probably need a buck boost anyways.
Well, and that might be a good conversation with the customer and what's on your truck. It's like, okay, well, I have this. Well, do you have anything to help stop these boards from going out? I have this that has a surge protection on it, and it'll help to even out your voltage.
And sometimes the surge protector is not going to save the equipment from the line voltage drops that it's experiencing. So knowing when to put the right type of equipment is key.
If I was a technician, 3-in-1, that 3-in-1 situation would be on my truck 100%. Because if I talk to a customer and if I explain to them exactly what we talked about here, why would they say no?
Well, then
why no?
I don't say cost is almost a big one with a homeowner.
Listen, it's conversation. You got to communicate. Okay, we'll talk.
Do you
about
want bad boards?
How many bad boards? You have to give them the math. Okay, a new board costs this much.
How much is
so
that?
How many?
So I think Eddie knows where we're coming from. When you present your findings at the end, you have your 3 recommendations and all that.
He's got to go work in a poor rural area.
Hey, we had to do that. We still had to do that in poor rural areas, and they're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
I was putting RTV on cracks and furnace heat exchangers. Like, just get it through the night. Negative 15 degrees outside. They got you. We can do this.
Oh, God. JB Well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
JB Well.
I was making up gas tanks with just like T-shirts I found in my
Some of
van.
that wonderful Alabama chrome covering up the flue pipe that's rusted out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, all the time. Yep. Back
with the spray
before
can.
B-vent and all that stuff, and they were still using metal venting.
Yeah.
Oh, they still. I mean, you go down crawl
And you got
space.
natural gas.
Yes, down here in
Yeah.
Georgia, you see a ton
That's all
that are
that's-
single wall in a crawl.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
It's not code.
I'm
but
actually
they're single
curious. This is totally off topic, and I apologize. But,
You're fine.
Gas furnaces.
Yeah.
Do they have Centrotherm in your area? Centrotherm venting?
No. Not
So
where I
it,
came from.
it was code in Massachusetts. It was relatively new, but the Centrotherm was this. It looks like PVC almost, similar texture or material.
Yeah.
But you have to buy this like gel.
Yep.
Yeah.
To
I've seen it.
slide it on there, and then you put this clip on it, and it put the clip on crooked. Like it looks like it's on there crooked, but that's
It's
how
on
it holds
right.
it together. And then
Without the gel.
it doesn't work. Yeah,
It's,
You
it's the
can't do it.
craziest thing. That gel. Yeah, that gel helps a lot.
Yeah, and then once for us it was once you got outside, you had to switch to black. It was gray inside,
Yeah.
and then it switches to black because that's the UV rated one.
Right.
And it was running that stuff. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes was such a pain in the butt because you do it and it looks great and you got it all nice and neat, and then you do the calculation. And it's like, oh, power venter can't push it this far, right? The inducer fan isn't going to be able to push through all this vent. So then you got to reconfigure, and you're like, okay, I basically just made a straight line. It's crossing your entire basement. I apologize, but yeah, I was curious about Centrotherm was more popular everywhere, but
So there are still some wall furnaces and floor furnaces hanging around in some of the areas in Atlanta.
yeah,
And one of the things I found that was interesting doing one of the wall furnaces was it had oval B vent.
okay,
And so when you came back with your new vent,
The wooden.
it was round. So that was a fun.
yeah.
But
And as far as the buck boost transformers, just to get back on topic, when is the best time to install one of those?
During installation.
100%.
Ideally, right? Like,
I agree.
That would be
ideally,
the
it could
idea.
be if you're gonna sell our units, right? You want to protect them. So if you're gonna protect them, you're gonna install these with them. That's
Yeah.
the way I would look at it. I think.
Yeah,
I mean, you could do it as a package with your install. So we have your disconnect, your pad, your surge protector, or your buck boost, and all that. That's just part of your installation package.
Yeah,
Yep.
yes.
And then for service guys, keep it on their trucks, especially for PMs. You can check that regularly, and then
And for the service guys, it's like keeping your eyes open. Like when you're doing your preventative maintenance, check what the voltage is. If you're checking it and you're seeing that it's dropping, because a lot of guys aren't checking that incoming voltage. You know what I mean? We're not. You know what I mean? A lot of guys are just going in there, doing your maintenance, changing your filters, cleaning things out, blah, 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 checking temperatures. You're out of there in less than an hour.
it's cool and
So
good.
Eddie, did you leave your truck running in the driveway when you were doing that?
Yes, you did.
You know
No.
it. No, but really, it's like you really got to pay attention when you're out there.
Yeah, there's no harm in checking, and real preventative maintenance.
You
You're
should be checking.
trying to prevent problems. So you're not just keeping things clean; you're preventing future problems. And one of the ways to do that is see how the thing's performing. Check delta T's, check your incoming AC voltage. If you're feeling real gung ho, you might check the DC voltage on the other side of the diode stack.
You're going too far. Calm down. This is too much.
It's supposed to be maintenance.
So
You definitely should.
In a reality, though, I had a guy in City Multiclass last week, and they were talking about new RTU units with ECM motors and the need for proper power supply to them. And they come with a warning label on them stating that if you fall with out of these voltage ranges or you're above them, it's going to fry the motor.
yeah,
And they're
Absolutely.
coming like that. So, but there's a lot of newer technicians out there, and I've been seeing a lot of them in the classes. 3 months, maybe a year. They don't know what a buck boost is. They maybe have never seen a line voltage monitor before in their life. So making sure that we can put the tools in front of them, show them how to do the job correctly.
Yep.
And it's becoming more and more common. The units are coming labeled with them, notifying you to say, hey, we need to install some sort of protection here.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, just like when we're going out and looking at line set sizes, right? When we're specing a job, we can do the same thing. We could do a quick voltage check,
Yeah, absolutely.
note it on the
Yeah.
paper,
Yeah.
and move on.
That's actually what I was going to say is that, when it depended on the company I worked for, but for the most part, like if we had a piece of equipment that was air quotes condemned, they would oftentimes send somebody out
To check.
to just look and start just grabbing general information for replacement. What's the tonnage on this unit? What's the line set that's currently on the system so we can determine if we're going to reuse it? What's the AC voltage? And having some sort of guideline, I think adding that to it is what's my incoming voltage to the existing equipment so that if we're going in for replacement, we know what to bring.
100%.
Yeah, with communicating systems and especially our systems
Yeah.
is becoming absolutely key to check the voltage.
Yeah. And we always contracted out our electrical work, but we would have the disconnect on site and we would have if we needed a buck boost transformer. And, I tell people this all the time, but when I used to go to like a 1-to-1 in particular, because we contracted out the electrical work, the first thing I do when I get on the job site, take the outdoor unit out and put it roughly where it's going to be. And I take a picture of the nameplate. Yep. And then I go down to the basement, I take a picture of the panel, and then I take a picture of the panel with the door open. And then I would text it to the electrical contractor.
Yeah.
And I would say it's about 150 feet from the breaker so that he would come and he'd have enough wire. Yes. He'd know exactly what breaker to bring. He would know everything he needed. He would have everything ready when he showed up. These 1-to-1s where you're on vacuum by 11 o'clock in the morning and you're like, we're about to send this thing. We're going to have the whole half of the day.
Yeah.
And electrical contractors show up and they have to get a parts list. Because they don't know, because I didn't communicate with them. So I learned early on, I'm like, get them their information so that when they do show up, they already have the tools and the parts that they need instead of waiting for them to get there, generate a parts list, go back out, grab the stuff, come back. It was just, the amount of times that we were ready to send that refrigerant and test it, and we had to wait for the electrician. We're like, oh, we'll be back after he's done. He's going to call us, and then we'll start it up for you. I try to avoid that stuff if I could.
We always got the time where we're doing the change out. And guys go there, they collect all this information, duct size, return size, everything. You never see them write down the line voltage, the paperwork. So, I mean, just having that in mind, that needs to be added or something you need to check is absolutely.
100%. Throw that one in there too. Yeah. Check the incoming voltage.
And it's a 2-second check.
Literally, yeah.
Well, it's 2 seconds once you find your meter. You got to pull the ladder out of the van, move the rags, the dirty rags. Then you'll find it in there.
Somewhere.
I mean, it's right by where the salesman's tape measure is.
Well, I think that does it on the buck boost transformer. I think the basic tools are there, and then we got some fun little tangents.
Yeah.
But
I'm ready for some steak, Bren. So
me too.
If you'd like to make some steak today, I'd appreciate it.
The pressure feels like it's on because Steve's not here, and Steve is just such a good griller. Yeah. Like he does such a good job. And the last 2 years that we've had, I've been a part of the training team meetings, and he cooks out. Everything comes out perfect. Nothing is like dry or burnt. Or he just was so good at managing his time and different temperatures on the grill. He's just a guru at that stuff.
Master chef.
So I feel like there's some pressure.
So you're saying this might be the one and only time Steve misses because of your cooking?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. The first year I was working here at the team meeting. We bought instead of catering anything, we just bought all of our own meats and the sides and everything. And Scott Tallman at the time was helping Steve do the grilling because Scott was a big smoker. He did smoking competitions and stuff. And I was like, oh, I want to help out. So I'm like, I'm going to get some vegetables. And so I got Brussels sprouts. And in my hotel room, I'm like in a pan frying the Brussels sprouts and making a little sauce to dip them in. I was so excited. I brought them downstairs. Nobody had any. Nobody had any. Like, didn't try it, didn't look at them. Like, they just sat there. And I like them. Yeah. So I ended up eating an entire thing of Brussels sprouts by myself. And probably a year later or something, Steve brings up that Longhorn Steakhouse. One of their sides is Brussels sprouts with like this honey sauce on them. They're amazing. They're really good. And he's like, oh, they're so good. You got to try. Have you ever had Brussels sprouts? And I was like, the smoke started coming out of my ears. I'm like, I made you Brussels sprouts. You didn't even eat them. So this is my redemption year. Hopefully I can crank out some chicken and steak. And I brought my Metis Tech Show apron, so I'm ready,
Okay.
I'm ready to go.
Nice.
Maybe we can get Mark down. You guys can wear yours together and grill out.
Yeah. Yeah. Juan, I think, brought his too. So,
Awesome.
yeah. We'll try to adhere to everybody's dietary restrictions this year because we hired a lot of people this year and they all have some form of dietary restriction. So,
Yeah.
no peanut oil.
I can't have soy, dairy. What else?
I got bit by the Lone Star tick, so beef is out.
So
also.
I do gluten free, but that's because my wife. So I can eat it either way, but it will screw up my stomach now because I don't eat it. So
Yeah, I bet.
it's a great alarm clock for the morning. But
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually glad you're here. I'm going to bring this last thing up and then we can end it. When we were in Italy, we had like a decent amount of pasta and stuff. And I don't know if you did, but like I had a decent amount, more than I normally do of pasta and everything. Did you eat any pasta while you were there?
No stomach issues.
No
whatsoever.
stomach issues. Okay, ready for the mind bender? Do you know where Italy gets most of its wheat from?
The U.S.
The United States.
Really?
Yeah.
It's how they process it.
It's gotta be.
It's all the.
I was mind blown when I found like one of the biggest importers of U.S. wheat is Italy, just to keep up with the ridiculous demand. But all this thing
It's
about
just how
like,
they process it.
Yeah, they take it there, they mill it, and they turn it into the end product. Here,
Yeah.
we act like we need to store it for 30 years.
Yeah, along with
Like
that
the
cheese
world.
that's in the
Oh,
cellar.
you're so funny you say that because I was just thinking about that the other day with salsa. It's like I bought a thing of salsa and it was gigantic, and I'm like, I don't eat salsa every day, so I'm basically buying this knowing it's going to expire.
Yeah.
Like knowing that I will not be able to finish this food. So food waste, like, and it started to bother me. I'm like, we in the U.S. sell a lot of things that are large quantities, like they're just big.
Yes.
And it's because we don't want to shop every day. We don't want to run to the grocery store every single day. And because it needs to travel on trucks. And so rather than so almost everything we buy is kind of like bulk.
Yeah,
It's big.
It really is.
And like right now I'm a household of 2 and then sometimes 3. And so a lot of things end up going bad in my house. And it almost like it bummed me out. I'm like, why is this our model? It's just our model. It's like, can I get like this much salsa instead of like a big jar of it? Like, there's got to be an in between where it's like, here's a week's worth of salsa for 2 people, but it doesn't exist.
They would do that for you. They would say, if you want a large size, it's this price.
Yeah.
If you want this small size,
Exactly.
it's still the same
Yeah,
price.
it's the same price.
You can get that.
Well, I do that all the time. Ask my son when I get him ice cream. I was like, I want a kids, but like half the amount of normal kids because that kid loses his mind on ice cream. So I'm like, 2 kiddies, one is half the size. I'll pay the same price for both.
Yep.
But just put barely any ice cream in there.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
One scoop only.
All right. Thank you guys for watching or listening, and we'll see you on the next one.